Wine Library TV, aka WLTV, the #1 wine show on the internet. And this is BBQ Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea. So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. A little technical difficulty there on the video side, hopefully. We get that rectified for next week. It's probably on my side. We are on the audio-only stream, so go to TuneIn Radio. Matt, no, don't leave. Don't leave, Matt. Go to the audio stream. The audio stream's great. You can still have fun in the chat room. It'll be like the show was always meant to be. We got a huge show coming up. It's all about the American Royal. We have Loren Hill coming up at 9:14 to talk about winning the Invitational side. We have Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe coming up at 9:35 to recap his experience at the American Royal. We have Steve Nelson from Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, to talk about winning the open side. And Mike McCloud at 10:35 will finish it out. So looking forward to talking with those gents. Again, an abridged open. I apologize, had a lot to get to, but got to make sure that things are still intact and that we are on our way. We'll see what happens. Folks, if you didn't know already, Big Poppa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue. The #1 dealer of mag pellet grills in the world, Big Poppa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills and smokers, such as the Old Hickory Ace BP, the Gateway Drum Smoker, even a drum kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Poppa Smokers also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship ruds. They did really well in the Royal, that's right. From flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending, their rubs have had a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition. Don't think that BPS can just be pigeonholed in competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known, they've been picked up by a nationwide restaurant chain, BJ's Restaurant and Brew House, with 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on their permanent menu. And amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs have proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry. Big Poppa's is also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profiles the competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Poppa's website also features an online meat locker with top quality meats from Snake River Farm shipped right to your door. From the American Kobe beef, the caribou pork, the Double R Ranch meats, Big Poppa's Meat Locker has something for every type of barbecue aficionado. Committed to bringing you the best flavors on the market, Big Poppa Smokers also recently added a few new barbecue sauces to their lineup, like Swamp Boys barbecue sauce, a fine swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce, just to name a few of the new kids on the block this season. Big Poppa's also created a unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country, working together to promote camaraderie, competition, barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind that Big Poppa Smokers has been able to do all this with only 5 years of being in the business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, providing customers with the very best barbecue products, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. It's just the beginning for Big Poppa Smokers. Oh, yeah, just the beginning. We're back with the winner of the American Royal Invitational, getting the recap from the King, Loren Hill. You're listening and watching mostly listening. The Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Two ways to get in touch with me should you see fit tonight. This portion of the Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. 31 cities, $500,000 in cash to be won. The next stop this coming weekend, it's the finals, baby. Bentonville, Arkansas. We're going to crown a champion of the nation. Find out more about the Sam's Club Barbecue Series and to check results, you can visit kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. Wow, can't believe we are culminating. We'll have Mike McCloud to talk about that at 10:35 tonight. My first guest tonight competed at the American Royal this past weekend, and on the Invitational side decided to go ahead and, just win the whole damn thing. So here to recap it is the pitmaster of the Smokin' Hills, the American Royal Invitational winner, Loren Hill, joining me here on the show. Loren, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing excellent, Greg. How about yourself?
Absolutely fabulous, Loren. I can't imagine a lot of people are doing much better than you, given the results of this past weekend, and we're certainly going to delve into that during the segment tonight. So I guess as you kind of look back before the competitions even start, when you're loading in, and maybe even let's back up from there, get a little bit more high level for the folks that aren't familiar with the American Royal or just might be kind of getting into the competition realm. In your estimation, how does the American Royal rank on a weekend compared to, a number of the other competitions during the course of a season?
No, Greg, there's absolutely no comparison. When you look at the legends that have won the American Royal and to be able to join that group of people, I mean, it is incredible. And the word ceremony, when they called us grand champion, the cheers, the high fives, and walking down onto that field where you've got 14 other of the top cookers in the country and you walk right past them and up on the stage. I mean, it was an incredible feeling. And the reception when we hit the field, I mean, we had the Darren Wirths of the world, the Tuffy Stones of the world, all giving us hugs and congratulating us. I mean, what an extreme feeling that was.
Loren, when you start to load in, I guess, one of the things that was new this year is that it hasn't been at Arrowhead Stadium before. It's a new venue. For somebody who's been to the American Royal a number of times and kind of used to the old guard and the old setup and the dark side and all that other stuff, how did you find the new setting versus the old one?
Well, I know everybody was a little apprehensive about moving at Arrowhead because it did lose a lot of the flavor the old place had. But, when we pulled in there, it was a lot more wide open space. And actually, it was an incredible venue. Yeah, they had a few hiccups for the first year that they'll get worked out. But overall, I think by the end of the weekend, everybody was very, very satisfied with the new venue.
Do you find logistically that it was a lot easier to access because it is, a little bit more open than the old place?
Yeah, I mean, for the competitors, it definitely was. I know there was some concerns of some of the visitors coming out Friday and Saturday night as far as backups on the freeway and so forth. But for the competitor, it was much, much better.
Loren Hill joining me here on the show from the Smokin' Hills American Royal Invitational winner 2016 or 2015 this just past weekend. All right, so Loren, take me through the weekend. When do you guys load in? Are you a Thursday load in, a Friday load in?
We loaded in on Thursday morning.
And you just get right up to prep and stuff?
It was the typical prep and typical load for a contest, but obviously we had to do double everything since we were done both the Invitational and the Open. But we had a really, really good feeling about this weekend when we loaded and headed out there on Thursday morning. One of our fellow competitors that everybody knows, Darren Worth, he basically said it's all in the mind. Not all in the mind, but a lot of it's in your attitude going in. Because I'd ask him, I said, Darren, how do you finish top 5 every year at the Royal? And he's like, well, it's all your mindset. So, we got in the motorhome on Thursday morning. We headed out there, and Cheryl and I looked at each other and said, we're going to go win this thing. And lo and behold, it happened.
So when you start to get going, Friday night into Saturday, as you start to make your way towards turn-ins, is it a normal day of operation for you guys? Are there anything weather-wise, people-wise, crowd-wise that pops up during your cook that you have to contend with that you didn't really expect?
No, actually, it was like a normal day at a contest.
For turn-ins, as you get ready, chicken's always first, and you start to build from there. Do you feel that you have, a really good chicken product, a really good pork product, a really good ribs product, and a brisket product for the course of the day? Or do you find that, in a lot of cases when I'm doing this show, the pit masters will tell me, man, it was average. It wasn't really anything to write home about. But once it gets in front of the judge, it's gangbusters, and all of a sudden they're taking the walk for grand champion. Same for you guys, where you have, it was okay, but nothing that really blew your socks off?
Well, generally at a contest, if we think we've done really, really well, and even in the past Royals we've competed when we thought we turned in really good food, that's when we didn't do so well. But for some reason on Saturday, everything we turned in was way above what we thought would be good enough. It was unbelievable. In fact, when I headed out of the trailer with brisket, Cheryl was almost in tears because it was probably the best cook we've had in 5 years, Greg.
When you are turning your meats in, are you a team that is continually evaluating the flavor profiles before you close the box and run it? Do you taste chicken and all the other meats, or have you done it so long, as long as you're hitting your marks in time and pit temperature, you don't really worry too much about where the flavor profiles are at the end?
No, actually, Cheryl's the taste tester for the team, and I couldn't do it without her. She'll taste every category, and some are more critical than others, like ribs. You got to pick the best 2 slabs or slab of ribs that you have. Chicken at that point in time, it's pretty much what it is, but the ribs, pork, and brisket, she'll taste the pork and season it a little bit if it needs to do, and make any little changes we need to make.
Loren Hill joining me here on the show from the Smokin' Hills, talking about the big win at the American Royal Invitation this past weekend. Loren, in a normal competition, you might see 50, 60, maybe 70 teams. There's certainly some events that you would see a little bit higher numbers, but on the average, you're probably in that 50, 60 range or so. When you're in this type of a scenario where it's like 187 teams or so, and everyone has had to win an event to get the invitation and show up, it's a little bit different field. Everybody's kind of high level, high caliber. Is there at all trepidation? You said you were very confident going in. You were coming in to win, obviously. And you do, but, is there still kind of that whole nervous, giddy feeling when you're going up against what is really the best of the best during the course of the year?
Yeah, Greg, I mean, I can honestly say that, really wasn't any more nervous at this contest than any other one. You kind of got to treat it like a normal contest. You can't get all hyped up about it being the American Royal. So, I mean, we just treated it like a normal contest and kind of went into it that way.
So as you are going through the overall call-outs, and luckily there was a number of people that were kind of streaming it live through various applications, so a lot of us were able to kind of watch it live from wherever we were in the world if we weren't able to be at Arrowhead Stadium there. When you are called for overall champion, kind of the lead up, the third place, second place, and ultimately you guys, it gets to a third place, a second place. Do you think at all that you have a shot? Have you been wildly keeping track of kind of where everybody is and trying to do the math, or is there just too many teams to really kind of do that?
Well, yeah, there's way too many teams, Greg, and we didn't have a port call, and actually had people congratulating us before the grand champion call, and it's like we could have been dead last in pork and finished 17th, 20th, 50th. So you never know, and it's really hard to tell in that caliber of cooks and that many teams.
So when your name is called, is it more of a surprise? I mean, obviously elation and the tears and the high fives, as you said, but I mean, is it just kind of like out of left field?
Well, I mean, obviously you think sometimes in the back of your head, yeah, we probably got it, but I mean, it's especially at the American Royal, it's a feeling like you can't even imagine.
So you win overall, you get the walk down, you get the crown, you get the cape, you get to sit on the throne. It's all good stuff. However, you don't have to, but you turn around and you're going to do the Open the very next day. So how much time do you get to enjoy what just happened before you go right back into competition mode for the Open, which, by the way, has almost 6 times the amount of teams you just faced?
Yeah. I mean, we had plenty of time that evening to go around and visit. I mean, I don't know if you know, we just switched over to the Gateway drums this year. And so we don't have to get up and start cooking until 6 o'clock in the morning now. And so that makes a big difference. So we went out and visited tons of people, got to go backstage of the concert there, meet Big and Rich. I mean, we thoroughly enjoyed the evening, but we still made it to bed about midnight and was back up at 6 o'clock in the morning to start the cook.
How did you find the Open results as compared to Invitational? Similar cook or not at the same caliber?
Well, it was a very similar cook other than chicken. I struggled with the chicken, didn't have the cooker quite hot enough, and so we were running way behind. And I mean, we ended up 523rd in chicken. So, what can you do about that? Yeah,
it's a little different, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Loren Hill joining me here on the show, talking about the big Invitational win this past weekend. So, going out of the weekend, looking back here, a couple days removed, and I guess for the folks that don't know, Loren, how long have you and Cheryl been competing?
We actually started competing it was either 2006, 2007, Greg. And, typical barbecue team, we started with 5 the first year, 10 the second year, then gradually increased that number to now, we're doing 20 to 30 contests a year.
All right, so you're definitely on the higher end when you're looking at a number of the teams that are out there right now. And you just said you kind of grew into it. So looking back, 2006, 2007, it's kind of in that, 8 to 9 year range that you've been in it so far. Is it easy for me to say that this is by far the biggest win that you've had in the competition career, or is it the first win that's always the biggest that you ever had? Where does it kind of fit amongst all of them?
No, this is by far the biggest win ever in the career. I mean, it still hasn't really sank in. I mean, it was funny because I ran into Tuffy Stone on Saturday night, and he says, Loren, I'm sure it hasn't sunk in yet, but he says, when you wake up in that motorhome tomorrow morning and you look at the trophy, you look at the check, you look at the crown and the robe, he says, then it'll start sinking in. And boy, was he right.
when you start to go away from Arrowhead Stadium after the Open, and are you guys doing Sam's final this year, or did you not do Sam's this year?
No, well, we cooked the local and Sam's, but unfortunately, I think we finished ninth, so we did not transfer out of the local.
All right, so you guys are back at headquarters right now, then?
Yeah, we're back in Overland Park and relaxing. I think we've got 3 more contests to go this year, and then we'll look on to next year.
In regards to cooking, I mean, you take stock of, we're almost in the middle of October, believe it or not, here. So the year's kind of quickly evaporating, wildly coming to a close. How does the Smokin' Hills competition season of 2015 rank? If you were to hold this past weekend, where do you rank it? And then how do you rank it after this past weekend?
Well, I mean, this past weekend was definitely the highlight of our year. We've kind of struggled throughout the year. I mean, we basically, I got to a mode where, taking some classes and cooked with some other cooks, and it was a matter of changing up everything we do. So I learned very quick that you can't change everything you do and still stay consistent. So 3 to 4 weeks ago, we went back and started doing primarily what we've always done with a few changes. I mean, what we've done over the past few years. And that's when it actually started coming back to life. So, when you go back to the rubs and sauces and so forth that you trust, that was our turning point back to doing well again.
Whose cooking class do you take?
Well, actually, we've had 3 cooking classes. The first one we took was Rod Gray's class, Pellet Indy, which, I mean, was phenomenal. All 3 classes have been phenomenal. We took Kelly Wirtz's class, I believe it was 2 to 3 years ago. And then earlier this year, we took a Gateway Barbecue Store class, which, I mean, the thing about classes, you get something out of each one, and they'll all help your cook. And regardless of what you cook on, I mean, when we took Gateway's class early in the year, we weren't cooking on Gateway drums. We didn't start cooking on the drums till March of this year. But, we got a lot out of the class.
Loren, I think maybe one of the key takeaways here is there might be an assumption that when you've been doing it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, that you are set in your way and that you have a program that works and that's the way you're going to do it. But you're actively taking classes, from top guys, and it's not just new people that are trying to really ramp up and win quick. You're just trying to keep ahead and keep fresh, right?
Yeah, and one thing you learn, Greg, I mean, you'll get, even for an experienced team, you'll pick up 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 or 5 pointers out of each class that you can incorporate to your cook.
Loren Hill from the Smokin' Hills, winner of the American Royal Invitational, joining us here for a few more minutes. Loren, as you look back, at 2007 and 2008, what were you doing, or perhaps a better question is, when you look at what you're doing now, when you look back all those years ago, what surprises you the most as what you're doing now as just, plain program versus what you're doing back then?
Consistency. Yeah, I think it's more the consistency, Greg. I mean, obviously, the more you do something, the better you're going to get. I mean, it's really tough for a team cooking 3 to 4 contests a year to stay on top of their game, where if we cook 4 weeks in a row, by the 4th week, we're on it. If we take 3 weeks off, then we tend to struggle a little bit that next contest. So it's just the consistency. I mean, it's like clockwork when Cyril and I have done 3 weeks in a row and we're in that motorhome. We don't even have to talk to each other. We know exactly what each person is doing and what needs to be done.
Are you surprised that these higher-end meats have really kind of gained popularity and seem to become more or less the norm versus, what you guys were using 6, 7 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the higher-end briskets has made a big impact, but I can honestly say, as far as chicken, ribs, and pork, I mean, they're kind of off-the-shelf deal. We're fortunate enough to live in Overland Park. We've got, the one of the biggest meat suppliers in Kansas City for barbecue teams right up the road, Keith Sisk at Price Chopper. And then, we've got the Kansas City barbecue store, which, is right there for us to buy all our rubs and supplies.
Loren, where are you guys going to be competing at next?
The next contest is down in Parsons, Kansas, and then after that will be Osawatomie. And then it looks like we're probably now going to sign up for the World Food Championships as well.
What do you think about World Food Championships? I mean, it's going to be the third year. They've moved out of Vegas into Kissimmee, Florida. Is that an event that you're surprised to see grow as rapidly as it has over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, and we've actually competed there 2 of the last 3 years. And I mean, the venue out there on Fremont Street in Las Vegas was incredible. And there's no doubt in my mind that the one out there in Kissimmee, Florida will be just as well. But it will be nice to see more teams and a little bigger comp. And I mean, that's when you need to put your game on and go for it.
Loren Hill is the pitmaster of the Smokin' Hills. Him and his wife, Cheryl, they are the 2015 American Royal Invitational winners. Loren, really appreciate the time and the recap tonight. Thanks so much for doing it.
Okay, thank you very much, Greg.
You got it. There he is. Mr. American Royal and Mrs. American Royal, Loren and Cheryl Hill from the Smokin' Hills. Congratulations to them. Again, if you're not familiar with competition barbecue and who's in it and who's not, Smokin' Hills have been around for, probably going on 9 years now. I met them in person. Man, will it be 3 years ago? Oh, my. The first Smokin' at the Run in Miami, Oklahoma. Hope to be back there in this coming March. So, yeah, they've been doing it a long time, seen a lot of things, so couldn't happen to a better pair of people winning it. The Invitational winners at the American Royal. You know who else was at the American Royal? Chops Power Injector System, Dan Uladal and the gang. This is the National Barbecue Association's Tool of the Year of 2015. 3 awesome sizes to fit your needs. The number 1 seller is the half-gallon Chops Power Injector System. It's designed for the competition or to pump up the backyard warrior like me. Easy to use. Clean it, fill it, pump it, and go. If you just got one brisket or a pork shoulder to do, you don't need to fill it up all the way. Just put in what you need. It will use it all. It comes with a 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, the 3 plug screws, a needle protector, ships to you for $100 plus the shipping. Then you have the 1-gallon Chops Power Injector System, designed for the bigger cater jobs. It will hold double the amount of the injection of the half-gallon size. People like to use this for the MBN whole hog. Maybe you're cooking 10 shoulders to get that perfect one. This is the one for you. It comes with a 14-gauge needles, 2 replacement plastic needle adapters, 3 plug screws, and a needle protector. $120 plus shipping anywhere. How about this one? The newest one is the Chops Full Power Injector System. It's electric, and it's the commercial and competition Big Daddy. This is not a holding tank. No. It's a 3.5 foot pickup tube that you can put in any size container. That's right. From a few ounces to a 55-gallon drum. It was designed originally for Chef Rob at the best barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. He said time and time again that the Chops Full Power Injector System has made his briskets better than ever. It comes with 3 metal needle adapters, 14-gauge needles, 3-inch 12-gauge needles, 2-inch 11.5-gauge needles, 3 plug screws, a needle protector. It's $325 plus shipping anywhere. A number of the top pitmasters in the world use the Chops Power Injector System every day to make their barbecue better than the rest. Because here's the thing, we live in a foodie world now. It requires flavor in every bite. This is how you do it and how you do it fast. And it's not just for meat. How about an alcohol-infused watermelon or pineapple or whatever you can think of? It can do that too. Every injector is hand-assembled in Kansas City, Missouri, USA. Extra accessories if you want them, they got them. Want to shoot medium ground spices? They have you covered for that. They have 2, 3, and 4-inch 12-gauge needles. They also have 2-inch closed tips. Perfect for shooting fatty meats to keep from plugging up the needle with fat. They sell replacement stock needle adapters and plug screws. They got everything you want. Chops Power Injector System gives your barbecue some power. BarbecueKansasCity.com. That's BarbecueKansasCity.com. Dan Uladal will be on the show on the 20th of this month. We're back with Ray Lampe right after this. Stick around.
the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the Barbecue Central show is being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers of some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to house a lot of food, they got one for you. How about some of the medium size? They got you covered there, too. Tailgates? Yeah, they got small ones. They can also supply you with those wood pellets to keep it fired. Check them out at greenmountaingrills.com. I love mine. You could love yours as well. Get to the website, greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. All right, joining me in his almost normal first Tuesday of the month, Dr. Barbecue Ray Lampe for the Dr. Barbecue segment. Ray, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How about you?
Absolutely fabulous, Ray. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. Obviously, a road warrior over the past number of days here with the American Royal and so forth. So, I just had Loren Hill from the Smoking Hills on talking about their win in the Invitational side. And, from your perspective, Ray, how does the American Royal Invitational stack up to some of the best or more popular competitions during the course of a year?
No, to me, there's no competition. It is the best, period, because they have room for everybody. What can you say? The luck of the draw and all that. I respect the whole Jack Daniels thing, but how can you say that's a better contest than one where everyone is welcome? And it's kind of in the middle of the country. If you don't come there, well, that's your problem. All the winners are invited. I don't think there's any competition, which is the best competition of the year. That's it.
When you have 187 teams out there trying to win, to come out on top.
All grand champions.
Yeah, all grand champions. I mean, that really says something, whether you're putting just one really great cook together, because that's what it takes when you're up against all of those winners. That's really quite an achievement, not just for a year, but kind of for a career.
Oh, yeah, like Loren was saying, I mean, that's it. It changes his whole career. He's now an American Royal winner, man. There's nothing bigger than that. I was thinking about today, too. I wonder how many teams won multiple contests, because there's a whole lot more than 187 contests. There's a whole lot of multiple winners in there, too.
Ray Lampe joining us here on the show. Ask drbbq.com if you have questions you'd like us to answer when he's on once a month. You can visit Ray's website, drbbq.com. Otherwise, Ray, you were out there, kind of your take on the American Royal this year. Obviously, it moved out of its old stomping grounds and over to Arrowhead Stadium, from somebody who's, been there, a number of years in a row and kind of seeing the American Royal grow at one place to move it to another. Your thoughts on that? What'd you think?
Yeah, I first went in 1995, so I haven't gone every year, but this would be 21 if I had. I went to most of them. It was very different, but I liked it. The problem is it's unfamiliar. The other place I knew where everybody was. At some point, I would take my journey around the dark side, and I knew where all my friends were, swing by and say hi to them. This year I missed a lot of people just because I didn't really know where they were. Yeah, I had a map and I could try to find them and stuff, but that didn't happen. It's just unfamiliar. I judged the Invitational this year. I didn't know where that was. I had to go find it and see where it was. I didn't know where the stage was till they walked us over there. And it's just unfamiliar. But the one thing I thought about it was, we've given up the charm of the bottoms. I don't know if you ever went, but it was a really interesting grounds for the whole thing. A little bit funky, it had a lot of character to it. That's for sure. And we gave all that up. However, we were standing right outside of Arrowhead Stadium and the baseball stadium or whatever it's called. And so, we had a whole new cool thing going on. I think we're going to forget about the bottoms pretty soon.
I had asked Loren, and he kind of agreed that logistically for the competitors, much easier to kind of get in and out. You saw the same thing?
Yeah, and it will only get better because it was easier because there's just room and there's a place to drive around the whole thing. But this year we didn't even really know what lot G was, what lot F was. Next year we all know what that is. Maybe the local guys do from going to Chiefs games or something. But even not being familiar with that, it was a whole lot easier. So yeah, and it's only going to get better. I think logistically there's no question it's a way better situation.
So what were you doing there? Were you out there doing the big green egg thing? Were you just kind of walking around and seeing what's what? What was Dr. Barbecue doing out there?
I went in general to see everybody, but on Friday I cooked some steaks for the Kansas City Steak Company. They asked me to go to their sponsors of some sports radio talk thing, and I went over there and spent a couple hours cooking steaks with them, which was good. It kept me out of the liquor too early. So I did that for a while, and then we went to the Operation Barbecue Party and had a great time. Saw a lot of people, a lot of fun over there. And then Saturday I judged the Invitational, and Sandy judged the Kids Queue. And then Saturday evening, I had the honor of introducing Ed Fisher, the founder of Big Green Egg, as he was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That was Saturday evening?
Yeah. And then I got out of there.
All right, so let me ask you this, and I'm glad you kind of segued over into the Hall of Fame because I was wondering what your take on that. I mean, it seems, I guess even Friday night wouldn't make a difference. I mean, is it well attended to have those people? I mean, that seems like it would be almost a kind of an odd time where people might want to start turning around to get it ready for the competition the next day.
Yeah, it's tough. There's no good time for the competitors. The guys that are on the other side, there is no good time. I believe this was the biggest crowd I've seen in attendance. Now, are they there for the Hall of Fame? Are they lined up from Big and Rich? Do they just happen to be walking by? I don't know. But there was hundreds of people in front of us, and then more like a little further back. There was a lot of people around. So it wasn't as last year was a little bit uncomfortable because there was like hardly anybody there. There was more people there than there was in the past. Why they were there, I don't know. But I wish I had a suggestion for a better time to do it, but I don't.
Who was the pitmaster that won in this year?
Paul Kirk.
Oh, right, your buddy.
I have buried the hatchet with Paul when we did the Meet the Masters thing at the
in his back
Association. I declared that I would be nice. Paul hasn't really joined in on that so far, but
right. Hold on a second. Let me back you up here for a second. Like, what's the deal with you guys?
I picked a fight with him years ago when he was claiming to have won 7 world championships, and I couldn't quite understand what they were, and I picked a fight with him and asked him to name them, and I still haven't seen a list that I think is a good list, but whatever. Like I said, I gotta quit. I'm gonna start being nice to him. So
all right, fair enough. So Ed Fisher goes in for Big Green Egg. Paul Kirk goes in as pitmaster. Steven Reichlin goes in as the celebrity portion.
Well, what do you think about those choices, Greg? You've always been very critical. I want to hear what you think.
I mean, I don't know Paul Kirk from a hole in the ground. I mean, I know he's very accomplished in the competition scene. I don't know anything about the World Championships that you picked a fight with him about, whether he won them or not or whatever. But I mean, he seems to be a guy that could probably go into the Hall of Fame. I don't have any issues with that. Ed Fisher, absolutely. I mean, this guy is kind of an icon when it comes to ceramic cookers. He brought those things over from, the Orient during wartime or whatever he did back in the 70s and has grown this company, the Big Green Egg, into really the Kleenex name of what ceramic cookers are. I mean, people say Big Green Egg and everybody knows what it is. So absolutely he should be in there. And I have no issue other than the fact that he took my spot this year and Steven Reichlin being in there for a celebrity. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody that has done more book-wise and TV-wise and teaching-wise. He's really been prolific in regards to the industry, and I think a lot of people don't know him. A lot of people know him because he is on PBS and he's been on television for a number of years, and a lot of people have his books and they kind of know him, but I don't think he's a household name like a Bobby Flay would be, and I think he's kind of one of those guys that rides just on the cusp of being able to get pushed over. But for those three, I mean, I have no issue. Again, I have the issues I have with the Hall of Fame aren't necessarily with the people that are getting in. It's just kind of how it's structured, and I think we kind of agree on that.
Yeah, we do. But I think this was a stellar group, and what I like, Steven, I'll tell you, one of the things they said about Steven is one of his books sold 1 million copies, over 1 million. The How to Grill has sold over 2 million, and altogether he sold over 5 million cookbooks. Yeah, I'm not really close to that. I mean, that is an amazing accomplishment. That is there's nobody better than him, and he's a good guy. He hung out with us and stuff. Absolutely belongs in there, and Ed and Paul all belong there. What I like is the diversity that we're seeing. Is it perfect? No, but that's a pretty diverse group. It's not very competition oriented. Paul is, of course, that's fine. The pitmaster category is always going to be, but Ed Fisher, it might be the first competition he's ever attended in his life. And Steven, like you said, while he does go from time to time, certainly not his thing.
A lot of people would wonder, and I get a lot of emails because, he's kind of a regular on this show every third Tuesday saying, is he as good of a guy as he is? And I've never met him in person. I just know that this guy shows up for an internet show every third Tuesday, and it kind of blows my mind, just like, you and some of the other guys. But
he's a good guy. But as far as I know, every time I've seen him, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he throws beers and has good anecdotes and all this stuff.
I didn't see him throwing any beer. And there was an ice shot drinking luge in the shape of a woman's torso, and I didn't see him in there.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine, but you never know. Maybe really late when nobody was watching, but we're talking.
That's when we were there.
Yeah, Ray Lampe joining us here on the show. drbbq.com is his website if you want to check it out here. Are you going to be going down to the Sam's Club finals at all, or are you just kind of gearing up for the Jack, or what's up?
No, I got Eggtoberfest this weekend in Atlanta. 5,000 eggheads coming to party.
Oh, my Lord.
And then I go home to Chicago for my class reunion, 40-year class reunion.
High school?
Week. Yeah.
What?
I know you didn't think I was that
you
old,
go
but
to that. No, I mean, it's not that. I mean, you certainly look very young, but, I mean, you don't strike me as a guy that really cares about high school reunion. I mean, you got to be the biggest celebrity in that class, right?
Well, that's one of the weird things, probably. I don't know. I don't know who else. You're right, though. I went to the 10-year one, which is kind of like right after high school.
Yeah. And
I haven't been to 20 or 30, and I really never planned on going to this. And I just ran into some guys that kind of started talking me into it. I started feeling bad. Geez, we're getting kind of old. Maybe this would be the year to go back. And you're right, though. It's totally not my thing at all. And now I'm thinking about that. I'm like, I hope everybody doesn't want to like take pictures with me and stuff. I just want to kind of, drink with my old friends. But so I don't know. We'll see how that is.
Well, it's not like it was 20 years ago where there was no social media. I'm sure everybody's going to want to get a selfie with Dr. Barbecue, but we can see what that's like here next month when we recap your 40th high school reunion.
And then I'm going to judge the Jack.
Yeah.
That.
So what are your thoughts on the Jack this year? Are you excited to get down there? I know there's going to be some European teams, and there's been some really good European teams competing. Winning over there that I think are probably pretty excited to get over on this side of the lake and give their hand at the Jack Daniels this year.
Yeah, well, let's not forget Bunch of Swines finished, I think, in the top 10 both days at the Royal. Or, no, maybe they didn't finish top 10 the second day, but they had an 8th in chicken and had a respectable finish. They had a great day, British team. The European teams, absolutely, But if any of them ever dare win, they'll be accused of cheating. So they got to be careful because that's what happened before.
As long as Fast Eddie isn't in the camp, we're
Eddie,
safe.
Eddie's not allowed because Eddie could just win the Jack at will. We all know that.
Of course. That's why.
That's amazing. But anyway, I got a lot of friends over there from all over the world. It's funny for me. I haven't been back in about 5 years, and I got a lot of friends there in Lynchburg. I'm really looking forward to them. But there's a lot of teams I don't know. As I look at the list, I just don't know those folks. I'm so not involved anymore. It really disappoints me. But it truly is when to be careful what you wish for things. It's my career now, and I got to go where the money is, and it's not always at the cook-offs. But I had this October free, and that's why I really wanted to go to the Royal and the Jack, and I'm really looking forward to getting back there.
When you are set to taste at the Jack, do you gear your mind to anything other than what you think competition barbecue should taste like? Because there's going to be such kind of a wide variance of palate experience.
No, there won't be a wide variance.
No?
I don't think so. Last time I was there, I judged there 4 or 5 years ago. That was my first real incarnation of everything looking and tasting the same. I didn't realize how bad it had gotten. Of course, I guess when you're out at contests in the, you're judging at Lakeland or so, you're not all the champions. At the Invitational the other day, I don't even know how to describe how similar the food all was.
All right, I'm asking a bad question. I mean, as far as all the other judges having experience judging, not the food you're going to be getting.
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand.
So, it could be a food blogger that's going to be judging, but then you have you who's got a well-trained competition palate.
I think they try to sort those out as best they can. I haven't been back in a while. I mean, over the years when I was cooking back in the day, not pretty. You didn't even want to look at it because it was a mess. I think now they make them at least go take the class, whatever version of the class they take. And honestly, some of those food bloggers and radio people and stuff have been judging there for years, and they judge around Tennessee and stuff now. So it's probably better than it's ever been, honestly.
Ray Lampe joining me here on the show. Is there a place aside from the judging tent that you are going to make sure you hit when you're in Lynchburg this year?
I'm really going to see my buddy Marsha Russell. I don't know if you know Marsha.
I sure
Marsha
don't.
lives in Lynchburg, works at Jack Daniels. She's a good friend of mine. I never see her anymore. If you really want to find me that weekend, you'll probably need to look at Marsha's house.
All right, and next month we'll get the recap of how the Jack was, how the high school reunion was, and whatever else you got to close the rest of the year out. We are talking with Dr. Barbecue, Ray Lampe, joining me for the monthly Ask Dr. Barbecue segment. Ray, as always, appreciate the time, and we will talk to you again next month.
My pleasure, Greg. Take care. See you
got
soon.
it. There he is, Ray Lampe. Dr. Barbecue, drbbq.com is his website. Man, one of us has to get down to the Jack Daniels coming up sooner than later. I mean, I've never been asked to judge ever.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Does anybody know who I am? Come on, man. I just got an email saying that the audio stream on TuneIn is bad. Is anybody on the TuneIn app? Or the TuneIn website? I've never had any problems with that. Check it out. Let me know. I'm going to talk to you about the BBQ Guru, though. The longest-running sponsor of the show. This is the company that started it all when it comes to automatic pit temperature control devices. Why would you buy it from any other company? Are you not familiar with how these little beauties work? I don't get into the minutia, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature in one set, keeps it running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. Sound too good to be true? It's not. It's real life. You can take advantage of this technology today because maybe, just maybe, you're a busy working professional. Or perhaps you're constantly on the run with the kids, doing errands, and quite frankly, you just don't have the time to sit around and tend the pit temps. I get it. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt, a brisket, a couple slabs of ribs, or all of that, and you're off to do whatever it is you need to get done. The Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. There are currently 4 models to choose from, so you know there's going to be one to fit your budget. For instance, the CyberQ Wi-Fi, the DigiQ DX2, that Party Q. Oh, come on now, the Party Q. It's a self-contained cruise control for your pit. Goes from cooker to cooker to cooker, runs on AA batteries. Easiest point of entry when it comes to automatic pit temperature control device packages. In the market for a cooker, Onyx Oven. That's the one you want. Accommodates half and full pans for food service. Works seamlessly with the Guru pit temperature control devices. Do yourself a favor. Head on over to the BBQ Guru, the website, thebbqguru.com, and check out their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. Again, 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The BBQ Guru continues to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back to wrap up the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back. Thanks again to Ray Lampe for joining me. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you're tuning in to find the video feed. We don't have it tonight. Sorry. Something's going on. Tried to connect. It looks like it's connecting. It doesn't connect. You can go to the tunein.com/radio/BBQ-Central-Radio-Network or just search BBQ Central Network or jump into the chat room here. I've got the link a bunch of times here, and you can at least get the audio of the show. We got a huge number of people going in. Old school, as we call it. If I could just do away with the video portion, we'd be right back to where I love the show the best. Oh, yeah. Nobody sees me. I can make it sound like I'm handsome devil. Ask all the questions, all that good stuff. That's not the case, though. All right, we've muddled through the first hour. We had a great interview with Loren Hill from the Smokin' Hills talking about the Invitational win. We also recapped the American Royal with Ray Lampe, who was there for 2 of the days. If you missed one or both of those interviews as you're just locking in now, you can get that in the replay. Sign up for Audible replays on iTunes. You can go to the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, for all of your archives as well. I am getting this locally on video. It'll be uploaded to YouTube. Yeah, that's the name of the site. It's a new place, YouTube. You ever heard of it? I will also send it to Kevin Bevington, and he will have it up on Outdoor Cooking Channel at some point tomorrow as well. So we'll get the video connection thing figured out here for next week. And we'll be off and running. Got a big show for next week as well. I want to tell you one thing before we break away at the end of the first hour. The show karma still remains intact. How do you say? Well, I'm going to tell you, because in the weekly barbecue roundup, you're going to hear a name. A name of a person who was on the show last week recapping his win of the San Antonio barbecue cook-off. Clarence Joseph from Mom and Papa Joe's Barbecue shows up last Tuesday, does the show, knocks it out of the park, competes that same weekend, summarily wins his contest. Of course he did. Come on, man. It's the show karma. It never doesn't work. You show up on the show, you do good things for me. In return, you get to win contests. Think Loren Hill's excited about winning the American Royal Invitational? He's excited. He's going to win the next competition he goes to. That's a lot of air horns in a row. Sorry about that. Especially for the folks that hate the sound drops. Also, shout out to my Centralites in South Carolina getting hammered in the rain. Hope everyone's doing down there the best you can. Help out. Send water if you got places that are taking water donations, stuff like that. Man, it's brutal out there. Hope everybody's doing well out there in South Carolina. All right, we're going to wrap this first hour right here. I'm going to reload some libations. We'll get ready for 2 great interviews in the second hour. Your phone calls, your emails. It's all audible all the time, old school show, and we love it. You are listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hang on.
This is Rennie Knopf with ChampionshipBBQ.tv, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Boom! Yeah, that's right. Boing. Hitman. Folks, this is the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here for the second hour of the show. If you missed the first hour, shame on you. Where have you been? I missed you. You can get the show on replay. For podcast stuff, I do have video recording as well. We have video connection issues probably on my side tonight. YouTube will have it in an hour or so. Kevin at Outdoor Cooking Channel will also have it tomorrow at some point when I Dropbox it to him. You can jump in on the show tonight if you want. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Still to come tonight on the show, Steve Nelson from Grills Gone Wild, Iowa. He is the American Royal Open winner. Got the invite winner. We'll have the open winner because that's how we do it here on the show. Mike McCloud from the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour, also CEO and president of MMA Creative and the creator of the World Food Championships, which Loren Hill talked about in the 9:14 hour. The final Sam's Club Barbecue Series will roll into Bentonville, Arkansas this coming weekend. The final 50 teams will face off to see who will be the overall champ of 2015. The top 10 finishers will be revealed on this show in 1 week's time, and the Sam's Club Tour in 2016 will be ready. Hopefully, we'll get confirmation from Mike McCloud here in about a half an hour or so that will be ready to rock and roll again in February of 2016. One can hope. We'll see what Mike says about that. All right, let me go to albums. We're getting ready to do the weekly barbecue roundup here. And I'm tooling through my songs here. Oh boy. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let's get ready to do the latest edition of the weekly, the barbecue roundup. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Come on, dance with me, everybody. Yeah, get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Everybody get up. It's the weekly barbecue roundup for September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all that good stuff. Here we go. KCBS Hog Wild Barbecue Festival in Corinth, Mississippi. Hottie Toddy Barbecue Crew with a 697.6 wins the Jim Beam Barbecue Classic in Springfield, Kentucky. Winning at Tim's Full Belly Deli with a 700.5. City of Dana Point State Barbecue Championship, Dana Point, California. Winning at Knock Your Socks Off Barbecue with a 704.5. Keystone Classic Barbecue in Harrisburg, PA. Winning it, Checkered Flag 500 Barbecue with a 675.3. Go Hog Wild Arkansas Barbecue Championship in Sheridan, Arkansas. Winning it, Fire Dancer Barbecue with a 695.9. Roast and Boast, Columbus, Mississippi. Red Eye Smokers winning with 690.1. First annual Hot Q's and Cold Brews Barbecue Championship in Oroville, California. Winning at Big B's Down and Dirty Barbecue with a 691.3. Smokin' Thunder Barbecue Classic, Day 1. It's a GBC qualifier in Rome, Georgia. Winning at J&B's Barbecue with a 698.2. Squealin' on the Square, Loren's, South Carolina. Victory Smokers winning it with a 687.3. 36th Annual American Royal World Series of Barbecue Invitational. Winning at the Smokin' Hills, as we talked with Loren Hill a little bit earlier in the show, with a 707.9. Wow, huge score. UMKC Royal Roo Collegiate Barbecue Competition. It's a competitor series. Kansas City, Missouri. Winning it. I don't have that. Sorry. Smokin' Thunder Barbecue Classic, Day 2. GBC qualifier, Rome, Georgia. The Pit Crew, Georgia, winning it with a 701.0. 36th Annual American Royal World Series of Barbecue Open. Winning it, Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, with a 706.2. Wow, huge scores for both the Invitational and the Open. Hey, let's go to Texas because my man Dougie Scheiding is in the house. ICBA Keller Lions Club Barbecue in Keller, Texas. 48 teams were out there grand championing Grillin' Grannies, Franklin Volunteer Fire Department in Franklin, Texas. Winning that one, she thinks my slabs are sexy. Guadalupe County Fair Barbecue Cook-Off. Winning it, Flying G Barbecue. Hino Palooza State Championship Barbecue, Mercedes, Texas. Winning it, Rio Valley Meat. 2015 Night in Old Converse Barbecue in Converse, Texas. Winning it, as I mentioned, Mama and Papa Joe's 2 in a row. Karma. How about the Lone Star Barbecue Society? MDA Chillin' and Grillin' in Waco, Texas. Killa Grilla Barbecue wins that one. River City Community Church in Selma, Texas. Winning it, Kit Polk and Canned Heat having a hell of a year out there in Texas. And that will do it for your edition of the Barbecue Central Show's weekly barbecue roundup. All right. Yeah, absolutely fabulous. Now we'll see if YouTube will let me on with Michael Jackson. I doubt it. And they hate when you play copywritten music. I mean, come on. I'm talking over it. It's not like I'm trying to pass it off as my own. Besides, that man's expired. Respect. And I say that with peace and love. Respect to Michael Jackson for making a great song. Rock With You. I mean, you kidding me? Are there many jams better than that? Hardly. Hardly jams better than that. What I do with my second takes? Jeez, oh, Pete. It's been a rough one. Go to my drive, go to show setup, and the second takes. There we go. Of course, then you have this story brought to you by the Google. Does anybody hear that Google was changing their name to the Alphabet or something? What? Get that free stuff out of here. John Dawson would know about that. Did Google really change their name to the Alphabet? Or Alphabet or something like that? Bizarre. Franklin Barbecue has killed the professional line waiter mini economy. No! How dare they? Enough ink has been spilled about Franklin Barbecue. Much of it, this is from TexasMonthly.com. Writing it is, who's writing this? Dan Solomon. Again, I continue. Enough ink has been spilled about Franklin Barbecue, much of it by us for anybody remotely interested in smoking meats, who have made a decision. Either they love it or they're not interested in getting up early and waiting in a line for 5 hours to find out if they love it. A mini economy has sprung up for Franklin ophiles whose jobs, sleep schedules, sense of self-respect prevent them from spending hours in line. Line-waiting businesses, such as the one started by precocious 13-year-old Desmond and his similar business-like favor, Postmates, and the countless folks on Craigslist have made it possible for brisket lovers to get their fix and patient entrepreneurs to make some cash. Alas, those people are going to have to find other ways to make money because the prestigious joint has banned stand-ins from getting in on the business. As of Sunday, Franklin's Barbecue is just for people who wait in a line themselves. A quote from Franklin's Barbecue: "It's gotten out of hand, and we owe it to the rest of the faithful customers to not allow this distraction," Franklin said in a messaged statement. As the amount of line holders has multiplied, the large orders have begun to bog down the line. We prefer to serve our customers in-house and not have a second party representing our food and brand. Regular customers can still have a friend join them while after waiting in line, Stacy Franklin said over text. We still want our regular customers to limit the amount of joiners they have, Stacy Franklin said. Our normal customers are very conscious of this, but line holders continue to push the limits of what's fair for others. That's fair, end quote, by the way. That's fair, at the very least. It's Aaron and Stacy's Franklin's business. They can run it however they want. If they only want to sell brisket to people who take the time to wait, that's up to them. But of course, people are mad about it. And the anger just isn't directed towards the policy, but the very existence of Franklin's Barbecue line, the people who want to wait in such line, the business whose brisket inspires a line, anybody who would dare claim that such a line is worth tackling. They have comments as well. That's at texasmonthly.com. So if you're looking to make some money by waiting in line for people at Franklin's Barbecue, no line for you. Again, I would love to taste that brisket. I am not waiting in line for that. No. It's almost time, folks. Not only is it almost time, the time has passed. American Royal's over. Oh, no. Who won? Who won the FEC 500 on the trailer worth over $21,000 this past Friday night at the American Royal Fast Eddie's Poker Tournament? We'll reveal that here at some point. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think countless pitmasters prefer the FEC 100 pellet cooker? Former American Royal Grand Champion Todd Johns of Plowboys considers his twin FEC 100s a member of his cooking team. They handle his fire management. He can cook by himself. Doesn't have to worry about his temperatures. They're going to be consistent. He can roll into a contest at 6 p.m. at night. Well, 6 p.m. Prep his meats and be ready to cook quickly. The FEC 100 puts you in control, so you can concentrate on your flavor profiles and making those turn-in boxes. The FEC 100 features a digital Cookshack IQ5 controller that lets you set the smoke, cook, and rest time and temperatures. The heat and flavor source is 100% food-grade wood pellets. This pellet heat is controlled by a fully automated pellet system which produces very little ash as compared to stick burners. Pellets make it easy to customize the wood flavor you want in a consistent, easy manner. If you want more deep smoke flavor, Cookshack offers the optional smoke enhancer that can also be added to the FEC 100 if you so choose. Do you need additional information about Cookshack or Fast Eddie's by Cookshack products? Call one of the sales professionals, dare I say friendly sales professionals, at Cookshack, 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. You can also check out websites that they have to include Cookshack.com, obviously, or Pellet Cooker, singular, pelletcooker.com. Either of those will give you information on the Fast Eddie cookers and the Cookshack products, or you can, again, call them 800-423-0698, 800-423-0698. Thanks again to the good folks over at Cookshack for sponsoring the show, having a really good American Royal turnout as well. Fast Eddie is down at a food show, I believe it's either in Tampa or Orlando, so get down there, see him. They got deals going on aplenty. You like deals, right? Of course. The open winner to join me next, Grills Gone Wild, Iowa. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by CookinPellets.com. That's right. Oh, Chris Becker giving you some of the best pellets out there right now. Hoofa! Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. We are not voiding any warranties here, folks, so don't fall for it from anybody. Use Cookin Pellets cookers pellets to fire your pellet-driven cookers. You can buy them at CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com to purchase as well, or again, the main website, CookinPellets.com, longtime sponsor of this show. And again, some of the best pellets you can get out there right now when it comes to pellet-fired cookers. We talked with the Invitational winner of the American Royal about an hour ago. We move ahead an hour and find us talking to the American Royal Open winner. We head to the hotline and welcome in Grills Gone Wild, Iowa pitmaster Steve Nelson joining us here on the show. Steve, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
Absolutely fabulous, Steve. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight, and I can only imagine, as it's probably been a little bit of a whirlwind for you and the team out there. And, typically I would say, hey, let's take a step back here and see how you got into the whole competition barbecue scene. But I am embarrassed a little bit to say that I'm going to show my ass here. I have had your son, Scott Nelson, on this show any number of times for Pigskin Barbecue. I had no idea that you guys were like barbecue family. Holy shit. How do you guys get into it at the same time? Were you in it first? Did he get you into it? What's this whole dynamic like?
No, actually, how this started out is I was like a backyard barbecue guru all my life, and about 9 years ago, I decided to enter a contest, and there was 21 teams, and I finished 17th, and I realized, hey, I'm not quite as good as I thought I was. But then we started talking to Scott, and Scott got interested in it, and then the following year we did 2 or 3 together, and I just kind of got addicting, and we enjoyed the hobby, and it's like camping with a hobby, and it's just kind of went on from there. So that's how we kind of got into it, just by accident, really. But we've really enjoyed it, had a great time doing it, enjoy the fellowship and everything, and it's just been fantastic. So we kind of got Scott into it, to be honest with you. A lot of people think he started, and then he got me into it, but it was actually the other way around.
I got to tell you, and I would imagine you'll be able to appreciate this because he's your son. As somebody who has interviewed Scott a number of times, and I've actually met him in person out at the very first Kingsford Invitational out there in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, and met your grandsons. And man, what a fantastic father and husband is this Scott Nelson guy. And I can only imagine he had some great role models to become that person. So, I thank you for producing him. I mean, he's a great interview, but I mean, he seems to be a great person as well. So congratulations on him.
I kind of wonder sometimes where he gets all his energy, but Miss got it from his mother.
Well, so let's go ahead and take a look back at this past weekend, Steve, if we could. There's the Invitational, there is the open portion. So, I mean, 2 different contests in a number of different ways. The Invitational obviously is something in its own right. Everybody that's going to be competing there has won in order to get in. You got 187 winners there. When you load in, what's the mindset there? Is it to have the best finish possible? Is it just to go there and kick everybody's ass? What's it like there for the Invitational side?
We kind of went into this with, we did the Sam's Club back in April. We went out to Fort Collins, then we went on to Las Vegas, and we made it through the Sam's Club finals. And my intention earlier this spring wasn't to do the Royal, because I'm just not a big fan of doing doubles. I mean, it is a lot of work and it's a lot of expense. And then I decided in June that we were going to do it. And I just went in there with the frame of mind that I'm just going to try to do the best cook I can and turn it in, and hopefully everything turns out great. And I thought we cooked in the Invitational. I thought our cook was really good. And I think we finished 50-something. I don't remember exactly what it was, 57th or something like that. And then I kind of took a step back, and I was a little bit disappointed, and I said, well, I'm really going to just put forth an effort and just, really hopefully put out a great product for the Open. And when we turned it in, I knew I had a solid cook. I just didn't know with that field of competition how it was going to turn out, so I was totally very, very happy with the results. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's all sunk in it or so. I don't absorbed it all yet, but yeah, we were really happy with our cook. And I knew the ribs were solid. I knew the pork was solid, and I thought our chicken was solid. I felt chicken and pork were my best categories, but I always try to guess what the judges are going to do, and I end up being wrong. So, there it is. 2 perfect scores, though, right? Yes, we did. Wow. We had some friends from Chicago, Mike and Joellen, that have been helping us a little bit this year. We enjoy having them with us, and it was kind of amazing because Mike and Joellen did our turn-ins for us. Then Cap and I were working in the trailer, and he came back and said, well, Steve, I hate to tell you this, but I think we're on Darren's table, Iowa Smoky D's. And I said, oh, my God, really? He goes, yeah. And then I thought, well, I guess I'm not going to win whibs, but Darren ended up getting a perfect score for second, and we got a perfect score for first, so I was just ecstatic about it. It was just amazing. When you're doing the Invitational side and then you're switching over to the Open, as you said, you were really going to focus on putting out a really good product. Does that take into account that you're doing
any kind of drastic flavor profile changes or anything like that, or is it just more of a timing and temp thing? What's the mindset?
Well, I was more, we've been using all Big Popper's rubs. I mean, he's a great endorser of us. We love his products, and I added another product to my ribs, and we changed our presentation box on ribs, and Kath and I had been talking about our pork box, and she said, well, she wanted to change it to this, and I was kind of like, I don't think we should, and then Mike and Joel and Kathy kind of overruled me, and we ended up doing the presentation box on the pork, and we got done, and I said, oh my God, that's just absolutely fantastic, and we turned it in, and it, first place perfect in pork, so I guess they overruled me.
In a good way, I guess, right?
Yes, it was really thrilling. Sometimes it really helps to have a second or third opinion on there on what you're doing and kind of step back and take a look at it and don't get caught in doing certain things one way and changing up a little bit here and there, and it really helps.
A lot of people say that the Invitational, a lot of pitmasters say that, the Invitational is one that, they really seem dialed in for and have a specific game plan. Not that they don't for the Open, but because you are going from, almost 200 to almost 650 or, whatever the Open portion is going to be, that one seems to be a little bit more of a crapshoot. So it seems kind of a bit harder to rise above the rest just due to sheer mass. Do you have a similar feeling to that, or do you still believe that if you put out something better than the rest, it's just as easy a road to get to the top of the Open as it is the Invitational?
I think we go into every contest, and we're trying to put out the best products we can. I mean, we don't really focus on the Open versus the Invitational. When I went into the frame of mind, I was going to try to have the best meat, the best rubs, the best cook, and just put it out there and see what happens. And that's I didn't really have a different frame of mind for either category, but I turned in from the Open, and we didn't get a call on the Invitational, and I was doing the Open, and I told my wife, I said, God, I hope we just get at least one or two top 20 calls. And that's what my frame of mind was. And then we get the 180 first place ribs and pork, and I was just like kind of in shock. I was kind of taken back. I just really didn't think that with all the competition out there that was going to happen, but I was really I thought we were right there with everything. It was just spot on, and we let everybody sample it and said, yeah, that's it, and that's what we went with. So
Steve Nelson joining us here on the show. Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, the Open winners of the American Royal portion this year. Steve, when it comes to getting not only two calls, but two perfect calls for two different categories, as they're starting to call the overall names, do you still give credence to the fact to a large degree that you have a really good shot at pulling this off, or there are just so many teams that, the other ones, could be an issue in getting you over the top?
Well, when we turned in chicken, I really felt confident that we were top 20 in chicken. I really felt it was that good. And then we didn't get a call, and I was a little bit taken back by that. And then we went into ribs, and, Darren got the second place call, and then we got the first place call. And then I really felt confident, and I went back, and I was really excited. And I told Kathy, I said, God, all I need to do is get one top 20 in pork or brisket. And I said, we have a chance to win it. And I said, then we got the call on pork, and then I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, what did I do in chicken? Did I bomb in chicken, or did I bomb in brisket? And I'm like, you're just sitting on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen with that many teams in there. And so we were very thrilled with the results. I assure you that, like I said, it probably hasn't all sunken in yet, because we've been prepping for the Sam's Club final this weekend. I was trimming trimming meat in the trailer all day, and I really didn't focus too much on the Open. I said, I got to kind of just step back, forget about it for right now, and focus on this coming weekend. And I suppose when we get home next week, it'll probably probably all start coming back to me what all happened. But yeah, it was a fantastic weekend in Kansas City for sure.
Safe to say that the Open win is the biggest one of the career at this point?
You know, a lot of people say, and I go back to 2011, our first grand champion, everybody says that's the first one, the most memorable one to you, and I can still remember that. We won 2011, we won Canterbury Park in Shakopee, Minnesota, and that was like the most emotional win I've ever had in my life, because we started 9 years ago, and you get your first GC, you're just ecstatic, like, you know, things are coming together. And then this one here is just as amazing, probably more amazing. But yeah, I can't. I'm still kind of in shock. I just wasn't. I didn't really know. You know, I thought I had a good product, but you just never know what's going to happen, what the judges are going to judge it at. But we were super thrilled.
Steve Nelson from Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, joining me here on the show talking about the American Royal Open win this past weekend. Steve, is there any talking, any barbs being traded, any type of camaraderie that's happening during the competition portion between you and Scott, or do you guys kind of stay away from each other?
Well, no. We were just, it was Ryan from Big T's and Scott and I had kind of a little corner there, and we just kind of, you know, it's a lot of fellowship and we talk back and forth, but we don't really discuss anything about what we're doing or how we're doing it. And you know, if I have a question, ask Scott, he'll give me an honest answer, and if he has a question, I'll give him an honest answer. But I really don't know what he's doing. He probably doesn't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to like do everything Scott's doing. He doesn't want to do what I'm doing. And it's kind of a fellowship, kind of friendship thing, you know. And when Scott started, he was a lot more successful than I was to start out. You know, we started winning back in 2011, 12, and 13, and I was kind of the low and slow guy. And I decided at the end of 2013 that I was going to go start cooking hot and fast. I got tired of getting up in the middle of the night checking the smoker, and you know, everybody's kind of switching this hot and fast theory. And so 2014 I was like kind of a learning experience for me, and I wasn't, you know, I was doing well, but I just wasn't winning. And then the end of 2014 I was a little bit down about my results and everything, and I kind of went away with last fall deciding that I was just going to reorganize myself and become more detailed, keep better notes, keep better organized, write down a better schedule, and just kind of figure it out. And I came away in June feeling a lot better about my cooks. Things were going better, and I just finally got the hot and fast theory down a lot better, and I'm just really happy right now at this point.
Steve, as you look ahead, as you said, you're kind of trying to pack this one away and focus for the Sam's Club National Final coming up this weekend. I mean, is there any kind of momentum that you can bring from the American Royal Open into this coming weekend in Bentonville, or is it, you know, they're just two completely different things? You're going to be cooking again against, you know, 50 teams or 49 other teams that have, you know, advanced through a local final and now advanced through a regional final here to get to Bentonville. Any momentum you can swing over to this weekend?
Oh, I sure feel that there is. I just feel so much more confident after doing the Royal coming in this weekend. You know, I was trimming my meat today. I feel the meats is quality. I feel really good about what I'm going in with. I feel a lot of confidence in the cook, the way I was cooking at the Royal, and I'm hoping, I feel a real lot of confidence that everything will carry over and into the Bentonville, and so I'm really confident about that.
Not to tell you anything you probably don't already know, but there was a team a few years ago that did very well at the American Royal and summarily went back and also won the Sam's Club National Final. A little team called Tippy Canoe Barbecue Crew from Iowa.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so wouldn't be a bad thing to kind of start repeating that, right?
Right. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I just, you know, today I was, you know, Sunday night, kind of absorbing the whole thing that happened to us and enjoying the moment. And we went and got him room, and got up, and we're in RV campground now, and I was working on a meet today, and I said, I have to put the Royal out of my mind. I have to focus on Bentonville, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not even thinking about what happened last week at this point, and I'm just thinking about this weekend right now, and I just want to have a solid cook and do the best I can and hopefully get the best results. And I know the competition down there's really good teams, and it'll be a good measuring stick for me to see where I'm at in my competition lifestyle and field, and see how everything turns out.
Steve, what are you guys cooking on?
Well, that's a good, I've been, this might be I have a Meadow Creek TS 250, which I got from Sterling Ball, Big Poppa Smokers. And I started cooking on that, and I went from low and slow into hot and fast. I started cooking on it a couple years ago, but this year we cooked on the Meadow Creek more than we did out of the trailer. And we're coming down the Royal. We're going to do the Sam's Club finals, and my wife and I were talking. I said, God, it'd really be nice to have that trailer instead of just the Meadow Creek. So we decided we're going to cook on the trailer. So I'm actually on my trailer, which I've had for several years. I got a backwoods competitor, and I'm cooking on two Hunsaker drum smokers. That's the same thing I cooked in the Royal. I did a lot of practicing at home. I really focused in on my time frame, and try to get the smokers dialed in. I was really happy with it. And I said, well, I'm just going to throw it out there and see what happens. And that's what I did at the Royal. So I was thinking about having a friend bring the Meadow Creek down, and I'd pull the trailer down, and I decided, no, I didn't want to do that. So I decided we're cooking on two drums and the backwoods. So
he is on a roll right now. Steve Nelson, Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, won the American Royal Open and is now going down to try his hand at winning the national finals at the Sam's Club National Barbecue Series. Steve, congratulations again on winning the Open. Good luck this coming weekend, and thanks so much for coming on tonight, man.
Hey, thank you very much.
You got it. There he is.
All right, bye.
Steve Nelson, Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, for those that are keeping track. Scott Nelson's dad, by the way. Scotty! Shout out! So congratulations to him. It's always great to see teams that feel like maybe they just didn't do it in the Invitational. They make the notes, they make the adjustments, and then can go out in a 600-team field plus and take overall championships. So very cool. Congratulations to Steve on the open side of this past weekend's American Royal. Anybody go to the Big and Rich concert? How good was Big and Rich? I love Big and Rich. Oh, it's some of my favorites. I don't know. I just love Big and Rich. They're my favorite. It's like smiling. I don't know. I just smile. It's my favorite. Stepping up your barbecue and grilling game has never been easier because you can do it easily with Butcher's Barbecue. ButcherBBQ.com. By the way, shout out to Dave for a spectacular weekend as well. He had some great finishes. We all know Butcher's well known for the injection, the pork, the beef, the prime injection, the bird booster, the grilling oils. Yeah, that's right. You can get it all at butcherbbq.com. They have the go-to rubs, the go-to sauces, the honey rub, the sweet barbecue sauce. I think we know by now, when it comes to barbecue sauce, there isn't anybody more picky than me. I will hammer a sauce. Because let's face it, a lot of it is the same old kind of crap. It's kind of thick, it's kind of really dark, it kind of smells a little or a lot like liquid smoke. It might say it has this kind of flavor, that kind of flavor, but it's all lies. Lies, I tell you. Not Dave's sauce. He took the time to make a quality sauce. Didn't take the easy way out like most do by adding that devil's urine, better known as liquid smoke. So buy a box of 6 when it comes to the sauce. It's going to go quick. Don't worry about breaking the bank when it comes to shipping either. Items totaling up to $55 ship at $8.50. Between $55 and $200 ship at $9.75. Anything over $200 is free. So I implore you, buy over $200 worth of stuff and save on that shipping. Don't forget, once you're there, once you've stocked up on the sauces and the rubs and the injections, don't forget the grilling oils. Get the grilling oils, all of them. Work to replace, competition folks especially, work to replace the Parquet crap, the Blue Bottle nightmare. Get the grilling oils. They're shelf stable. You don't have to worry about refrigerating it or anything like that. Just keep it right out there on the shelf. You'll cook with it all the time. They're wonderful. I love them. Head on over to butcherbbq.com right now and stock up. That's butcherbbq.com. Butcher's Barbecue. Always trust your butcher. All right, we are back with Mike McCloud of MMA Creative, World Food Championships, and the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hang on.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This portion of the show is being brought to you by iGrill, makers of the most advanced Bluetooth grilling thermometers out there on the market today. You can use it with your iOS or Android device. You can get your grilling temps from up to 150 feet away. This month only, receive 15% off a iGrill Pitmaster set with code CENTRAL, complete with an iGrill 2, Pro Ambient Temperature Probe, Pro Meat Probe, and barbecue sauce by award-winning team Smokin' Hogs Barbecue. It's the ultimate pitmaster's dream. Shop at iDevicesInc.com. Again, that's 15% off when you use promo code CENTRAL. You can get the complete, the pitmaster's dream pack. Oh, come on. Such a pain in the butt. I'm telling you. Again, receive 15% off the iGrill Pitmaster set with promo code CENTRAL. Everybody loves a deal. You can shop at iDevicesInc.com. All right, helping me close the show tonight is one of the folks who was instrumental for all these years in getting the Sam's Club Barbecue Tour underway. Also, creator of the World Food Championship, which will be held a little bit later this year in Kissimmee, Florida. But we are talking about this impending Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour final, going to be held in Bentonville, Arkansas this coming weekend. Friend of the show, Mike McCloud, joins us here. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Greg, I'm great. How are you?
Absolutely fabulous, Mike. Always appreciate the time you make for the show here. And, we had a really big weekend this past. You had the American Royal, as you were out there, right, for a little bit?
I was for about half the time, and I had to scoot off over to Texas for another deal. But, I thought it was a great development this year to be out at the stadiums, and it gave it a lot of room for growth, and the team seemed to enjoy it. And from what I could tell, the first evening there, it was great attendance. I don't know what happened in the second evening, but everyone's always happy to be a part of that, and I think they pulled off a successful move to a new venue.
Yeah, that's was going to be kind of a lead-in question for you on there. As somebody who is very responsible, and whether it's the Sam's Club or the World Food Championships, you're obviously well-versed at the fact of, nobody knows better than you, switching venues from Vegas, down to Florida. So you have a storied competition where it's been for years and years and years, now going to Arrowhead Stadium. Do you think that there's a lot of thought into having to make that decision to move venues, or do you think because it's going to be open logistically, it's going to be a little bit better? Sure, there's going to be a little blowback, but a little bit of that is going to be, something that's easily overcome when everybody gets out to the new facility and sees what they got going.
I can't imagine how much mental hemorrhaging was leveraged during that process. Just dealing with what we're dealing with, moving from one city to the next, but also only being around for 4 years. That's one thing, but being around for as long as the Royal has, and then making that big decision to go to that venue. I'm sure there were countless meetings and then countless logistical planning issues, hurdles, obstacles, challenges, victories along the way as they moved into it. The good news for them and that situation is that the Royal picked a spot where Kansas City goes for fun. You know, they had Arrowhead Stadium, they had a baseball stadium there, so it's a perfect venue to set up for a big event with all the parking they had, the infrastructure that they had. That's probably where, obviously I spent a lot of time catching up with friends and touching base with clients and stuff while I was there, but I spent a lot of time walking around just looking at the infrastructure challenge and the network that they had in place, because I'm always mesmerized when something like that comes together, knowing what it takes to do what we do.
Mike, do you have any thoughts or takes on how the Hall of Fame is set up right now?
You know, I don't. And
is that bad?
I don't. I don't make any bones about it. I've learned there are some fights or some issues or some politics that you just don't get into. And I remember you asking me a couple of years ago when there was the ranking, and I didn't make the ranking. You know, I just anytime I'm not control, I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. It would drive me crazy if I did. So I'm not involved in the process there, and I have no position of critiquing them on what methods they use.
Is it something that you think could be? I'm not asking for answers or any speculation, I guess, but I mean, is it something that you think over time might grow, or do you think it still is kind of going to be a little bit of a quagmire going forward here over at least the next handful of years?
I think the concept, and I don't know what quagmire you're talking about, but and I probably should, but the concept is a great one, and I think it's well deserved as far as a stakeholder position. Now, who gets put in there and what are the politics behind it? That's someone else's pay grade. That's above my pay grade. But I hope it is successful, and I hope it becomes something that people are very proud of and very eager to go see.
Mike, we have the Sam's Club National Finals coming up in Bentonville, Arkansas this weekend. As someone who obviously has a fairly large vested interest in seeing the success of this tour each and every year over the last handful of years, we're setting up to be, what I consider to be one of the most competitive ones in recent memory. We got a lot of great teams in there, a lot of hot teams going in this year. How are you seeing it from both the competitive side and the business side?
I think on both sides we're in great shape. Operationally, we're ready. Sam's Club is ready. They are, as I had mentioned numerous times, they are a fantastic partner. They are planning some wonderful new little, I'm not going to call them surprises, but just new little features. And we're very, very eager to see it come together. As far as the competition, my goodness, you've got 6 of the top 10 teams in the KCS points race right now competing this weekend. You've got 3 or 4 teams that have actually won this thing or come in second over the last 4 or 5 years. So it's going to be first of all, a absolute treat for the judges, for which I will be near the grazing table often. And it's going to be high stakes competition for the teams, because this is the real deal. This is 50 of the best teams in America and 6 of the top 10 in the points race. So there's you can't let your guard down this weekend. You've got to have your A game.
From a business perspective, and I'm sure you're getting a fairly constant run of feedback back from Sam's, are they happy with the way things have turned out this year, or is that something that's saved for after the finals when you kind of do like a debrief on the season?
They're as excited as I've ever seen them at this moment, and they're very they're always just happy to see this culmination at their headquarters. They treat all of their associates to a barbecue day, and then they open it up to the public. We'll have some great entertainment there. Holly Williams is going to headline about 3 or 4 shows for us, and it's going to be a great acoustical set. She's granddaughter of Hank Williams, and so we're excited about that. Sam's excited about it. We will, as always, as any business does, we will assess the results of the whole tour, probably within 30 days, and look at how it can be tweaked, how it can be improved. We have a COE process, which is correction of errors process, that we go through with Sam's every year, and I fully believe that we're in good shape for it to come back next year. I can't make that call myself, but I'll certainly be in there advocating for it and putting forth the best KCBS barbecue foot that I can to make sure it happens.
Can you never assume? And I'm a business guy, so I mean I'm trained to never assume, but because there's been so many Sam's Club Series tours over the last, is it 5 years now or 6 years that it's been running?
This is the fifth one.
Yeah, fifth year.
If my math is correct. We run several tours, so I might be getting mixed up.
So at 5 years, you have a track record. It's obviously gaining popularity. This is probably the most popular year. You say that they're as excited as they've ever been, especially for this season. Is there a point where you can kind of think that it's just going to be kind of we're going to go ahead and do it next year, or is it always a little bit of a trepid step?
This is kind of a critical moment. They looked at this from a 3 to 5 year game plan in the beginning,
mm-hmm.
and but still took that annual assessment of it. They are professionals, they are business people, and it does not go without scrutiny. And we cannot ever rest on our laurels. We have to make sure that we improve it. That operationally we make it better, and then strategically it fits their needs each and every year. So you can never take it for granted, and I never will. But I believe, based on everything I'm hearing, seeing, and things that I know on the back end of the equation, that it has a good future ahead of it.
Mike McCloud joining me here on the show. We're talking about the Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour culminating this coming weekend in Bentonville, Arkansas. Also, the president and CEO of MMA Creative. Mike, let me ask you one more question here before I turn you loose tonight, and appreciate the time. World Food Championships obviously coming up sooner than later as well. How are things looking for the inaugural World Food Championships in Kissimmee, Florida?
I've never seen more excitement. The team number count is up. The interest is up. The media interest is up. We have great partners assessing and surrounding us and joining the fight in Florida. For the first time, we're going to be in a community-esque type environment instead of a loud, crazy environment that provided so much excitement in Vegas. So there's a whole different flip and mentality from that perspective. But operationally, we're in what I call the red zone. We got to punch it in right now. We've worked all year to get to this point. We got 4 downs to score, and every single play, every single second on the clock matters. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because that's what food sport's all about. So the whole entire World Food Championships platform is trying to underscore that if you're going to be passionate about something, if you're going to be great at something, then you've got to make it happen. And that's what we're focusing on right now.
Do you have an idea of what the financial benefit to Kissimmee is for having a World Food Championships in their city?
We won't know the full number until we have all the teams and all the judges loaded in. We're doing a really good financial assessment afterwards and during, through surveying of all of our participants. But and then obviously we can see what the attendance numbers are like. But I know personally they're going to benefit from about $1 million investment that we're making, and then there's probably going to be easily a $4 to $6 million impact when you factor in expenditures. So it's going to be sizable. And from a media impression, we get this, Greg. You'll appreciate this as a media guy. We've already generated 1.2 billion media impressions this year, and that's before the last 30 days of going into the championship and everyone being there. So from a media value, Burrell's, which we use to monitor this stuff, has already put about a $15 million value on the World Championships franchise for this year. So it's going to be huge for Florida. We're excited to bring it there. We're excited to see what happens, and we think it's primed, just like the Sam Series, for great things ahead.
Mike McCloud is the president and CEO of MMA Creative. We're going to be looking at the Sam's Club National Finals culminating this coming weekend, and obviously World Food Championships coming up after that soon. So, Mike, we'll have you on again before World Food Championships to hype it up a little bit more, but always appreciate the time, my friend. Thanks so much for coming on.
So do I. Thanks a lot, Greg. Have a good night.
You got it. There he is. Mike McCloud, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Sam's Club coming up and obviously the World Food Championships. Who's in the World Food Championships right now in the chat room? Would love to see how many people are going to be making that run. Any thoughts on it going to Kissimmee, Florida versus Las Vegas? Everybody more happy about going down there versus going out to Sin City? Are you a little disappointed that you're not going to be able to go to your favorite strip clubs? I mean, your favorite haunts? Restaurants, bars, and game casinos, stuff like this. As Mike said, this is a little bit more of a community-esque atmosphere than it would be normally, as it has been in the last couple of years out in Las Vegas. So looking forward to seeing the culmination of both of those. Sam's Club this coming weekend again, and the World Food Championships a little bit later in the year as well. Thanks again to Mike McCloud for coming on. Always enjoy talking with him. Folks, Suckle Busters is the way to go. Award-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, chili kits, and the Texas gunpowder, preferred by competition barbecue cooks. Texas-based, 100% made in the USA, folks. Products have won hundreds of industry awards. A lot of wins at the American Royal Barbecue Sauce Contest. New from Suckle Busters, the Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. We've been talking about it for months now on the show. If you haven't tried it, folks, oh my God. You're doing yourself and your family a disservice. Based on Suckle Busters' award-winning honey barbecue sauce, this is a thin barbecue glaze and finishing sauce made especially for competition ribs and chicken. It's super sweet. Not spicy. No. But it is super red because they use a special American paprika for that bright red color. Here's how you use it. Brush it on the last 5 to 10 minutes of cooking. It leaves a glossy red sheen on the meat, also adding an extra layer of flavor. Take your competition ribs and chicken, as they say, to a whole nother level. Take it to a whole nother level of the game. With Suckle Busters, award-winning honey barbecue glaze and finishing sauce. Here's where you get it, sucklebusters.com. You can also email sales@sucklebusters.com. You can check out your local barbecue store or, again, online at sucklebusters.com. It's great. If you want to win a free bottle, or at least try to, shoot me an email, and in the subject line, put Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce. You can win yourself a free bottle. It's just that easy. We're going to wrap up the show coming up out of this break. You want to jump in? 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hang on.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
We are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQ Central Show. Email. It sucks for the West Coast and Western Canada teams. No way I could or would drive to Florida. It was a big FU to the West Coast. Oh my. I don't have a name on that email. Other than Did I see? Weighing in on the move from Las Vegas to Kissimmee, Florida in regards to the World Food Championship. So, there you go. That guy thinking a big FU to the West Coast and Western Canada teams. Hate to see that. Thanks again to Mike McCloud for coming on this past segment and talking about the Sam's Club series. If you want to get down, we'll do a little friendly betting. You think you know who's going to win the Sam's Club? Email me during the course of the week and call your shot. We'll see who is indeed the best guesser. Because as Mike said, there are a tremendous amount of top teams that are going to be out there, both KCBS, FBA. I'm sure Texas teams are going to be up there. You got the American Royal Open winner that's going to be up there as well. So it's going to be crazy. People shooting for the top, folks. People shooting for the tops. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. All the way back in the first hour, we had Loren Hill from the Smokin' Hills, the American Royal Invitational winner, recapping that event. At 9:35, we talked with Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. He weighed in on his take of the American Royal this past weekend, looking at it from a visitor's/judge's perspective. At 10:15, we talked with Steve Nelson, Grills Gone Wild, Iowa, getting his son Scott Nelson in, not the other way around, as many think. Nay, not that way. He was the American Royal Open winner this past weekend. He's going to be going down to Sam's Club this weekend, trying to make 2 contests in a row and bringing back the Sam's Club crown to Iowa if he can so conquer that feat. And at 10:35, we talked with Mike McCloud, MMA Creative CEO and President, Sam's Club National Series guy, and also the creator of the World Food Championships. Great show next week. We look to have the winner of the Sam's Club National Barbecue Series on this show, recapping that event. Meathead Goldwyn will be in, as well as a host of others. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.